You don't need sheet music. You need a system. I'm Piano Man Steve, and I want to talk to you about two things. I want to share with you a system that you can use to learn your favorite songs quickly and play them well without taking years and months and all of the time that it feels like it's going to take to master reading notes on a page. And I want to talk to you about how corrosive it is for most piano players to get stuck in that sort of feedback loop that comes from traditional lessons. So, if you'll bear with me here, we're going to demonstrate some things and we're just going to have a little bit of a chat about how we play our favorite songs. Okay? I'm going to switch over to the teaching screen here for a second. So, when I was taking piano lessons as a kid, I started for the same reason that my mom, or that most people do, that my mom made me. And I found that even though I loved music, I wasn't really connecting much with lessons. I learned my fundamentals. Maybe this sounds familiar if you've taken traditional lessons. I learned key signatures. To this day, like I can tell you what notes fit on what line and what space, but I can't really just sit down and sight read something. And yet, I've been a professional musician playing piano and singing now for 35 years. So go figure. Now, there's nothing wrong with that particular method per se, but here's the trouble that most people have. That system of reading notes on a page was designed specifically for a particular kind of music that was being written at the time that they designed the system. And it is a lot of beautiful music is made that way, and I don't want to take anything away from it, but our time has been largely defined by what we call popular music: rock, pop, country, folk, soul, rhythm and blues, etc. Particularly in this time, it's in the post rock and roll era, so things from like 1955 forward. But to this day, we also still have a lot of folks that love popular music that happened before 1995 in the 20th century. So you're talking your jazz standards, Broadway show tunes from that era, etc. And they operate off of a slightly different set of rules than the music that was written in the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries, where they were writing everything down in these very, very beautiful, elaborate scores, where the composer was telling you exactly what they wanted you to play, exactly the way they wanted you to play it, etc., etc. In the era of recorded music, we have vibes and we have feel and we have groove and we have all kinds of things that weren't really so much a part of what was going on in those days. And they're kind of the central focus. So not only is it a corrosive idea to tell you that you have to take the time to become brilliant at learning how to read sheet music, really, really well in order to be able to play any of this stuff well. Even if you do develop that skill set out, what you're going to find is that it's the worst way to translate this kind of music in the first place. What you need is a system that allows you to approximate what the recording is. And the recording is usually a band. It usually has a rhythm section, a drummer, a bass player, some guitar players, maybe a piano player, sometimes not, sometimes an organ player. Maybe it has horns, maybe it has strings, but at the core of it is this little rhythm section: drums, bass, and then guitars and keyboards. Okay? That's what's going on. And you can approximate that sound just on piano. And we're going to do it the same way that acoustic guitar players have been doing it from the word go. And it pains me to say this because I have a lot of friends in this industry who are guitar players, and I have never, ever thought any of them were more intelligent than me. But they come from a tradition that is known for a long time, that you didn't have to read things note for note in order to approximate it. So what they do is, actually, I'm going to put this back on this screen for a second. When they have their guitar, they have the neck of the guitar up here, and they form a chord, right? And then down here on the body of the guitar, they strum. It's a strumming pattern. And that strumming pattern not only hits the strings because you form the chord up here, it hits the strings that are making tones that sound good together and that are appropriate, but it is also a rhythmic thing. The pounding of the pick or their fingers against the strings create a rhythm and a groove that then approximates the same effect that the bass player and the drummer are having on the ensemble that made the recording. We can do the same thing on piano with something I call rhythm patterns. So let me give you a quick demonstration here, okay? There are 4 key rhythm patterns that make up probably 90% of popular music as we know it. I call them the basic feel, the country feel, the heartbeat feel, and the waltz feel. And the basic feel is where you have just constant quarter notes going on in the left hand or some variation of it. And with the right hand, you can put any kind of sort of counterpoint to it that you want. So we start out with something simple like just coming down on counts 2 and 4 like this. Just to get our hand independence down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But then eventually you can put what we call syncopation in, and you can play on some backbeats with your right hand. And you get this really cool situation where it's like, and what that's doing is the same thing that a band is doing. The bass guitar and the drummer lock in together on a foundation, right? And it's a rhythmic foundation that also gives what we also call like a harmonic foundation, because that bottom note is what everything rests on, right? And it helps us understand the nature of the chords above it. Everything else is doing some kind of counterpoint back and forth, and it's the dance between the two things that creates this wonderful sound. Your right hand is your guitars, your keyboards, your horns, your strings, whatever. Your left hand is your drummer and your bass guitar player. And boom, they can make magic together. And so you end up with things like, in this case, just off the top of my head, something that could work really well with the basic feel. It could be a little Fleetwood Mac. Loving you isn't the right thing to do. How can I ever change things that I feel? You can go your own way, go your own way. You can call it another lonely day. So all I'm doing is keeping that sturdy foundation going with my left hand, that constant quarter note, and with my right hand, I'm playing various different kinds of things, some backbeats, some downbeats, but the point is we're creating a dance between the two hands, and it creates a nice foundation. And then there's other things you can do to dress it up. If I wanted to, I could play back and forth between my pinky and thumb like this, give it a little extra bounce. Loving you isn't the right thing to do. How can I ever change things that I feel? If I could, maybe I'd give you my world. Open up, everything's waiting for you. You can go your own way, quickly that becomes a song. And all I'm doing is I'm playing chords. What are the chords? Well, the chords are simply, we learn, well, one of the things that you learn when you're taking the fundamentals is scales, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Do, a deer, a female deer, that whole thing, right? And what we learn is that chords are formed by taking 3 notes at a time and building triads. So you have C, and you have the 1, 3, 5. So in this case, in the key of C, you have C, E, and G. That makes up a C major chord. And then you move up 1 in the same key signature. We have no sharps and flats, so we end up with a D minor chord, D, F, A, E minor, F, G major, A minor, then B diminished, and C. And I don't want to get into all of that for the purposes of this video, but you can learn what these triads are. And there's 5 kinds of triads that you can keep an eye out for. Major, which is like this. Minor, where the 3 is flatted. So you lower the 3. Boom. That's your minor triad. Then you have diminished. And diminished is where both the 3 and the 5 are flatted. And then you have augmented, where you have 1, major 3, and then you sharp the 5, like so. And then you have suspended, where you sharp the 3. So it's here, and you move it up a half step, boom. And then chords come with sometimes all kinds of other stuff written on it. They have 7s, they have 9s, and 11s, and 13s, and 6s, and sharped this, and flatted this, and all kinds of different things. But at the crux, it's always one of those triads with other stuff done to it. And so if you can learn those triads in all 12 keys, then you are off to the races. Because if it's a C13, which in its perfect form would look something kind of like this, but you're not comfortable voicing all of that because it's kind of a handful, it will still work to just make it a C major. It's harmonically sound at the triad level. So, in order to get started, all you have to do is get comfortable playing triad chords in the different 12 keys, mostly major and minor. It's great if you can learn those other things, but major and minor are going to do about 80-90% of your heavy lifting in popular music, particularly post-rock and roll popular music. Okay? So, you have those simple chords that you learn. Then you have these rhythm patterns. We showed you the basic feel. There's a country feel that looks like this. You don't only play country music with it, and not every country song fits in it, but I call it the country feel because there's quite an association. And that's, goodbye, Joe, we got to go, me on my own. We got to go pull the P-road down the bayou. Son of a gun, gonna have big fun on the bayou, right? So Hank Williams. It also works for some of those wonderful jazz standards like L is for the way you look at me. Nat King Cole. O is for the only one I see. E is very, very extraordinary. E is even more than anyone that you adore. Yes, love. It's very versatile, and it goes all the way forward into modern music. And then the next one I said was heartbeat. That's where we have sort of a thump, bump, 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 thump, bump. 1, 1, 2, and 3, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. And up on top, we can do downbeats or backbeats. So we have a lot of options with our right hand as to how we dress that up. But when you get that, this is the most versatile rhythm pattern known to mankind. It's got everything from, like, we can start with Buddy Holly, every day it's a getting closer, going faster than a roller coaster. Love like yours will surely come my way. Hey. And you jump into the 60s and you get the Beatles with, oh yeah, I'll tell you something I think you'll understand. When I feel that something, I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. And then even after they had their whole career evolution, they get to the very end of their career, they were still using that rhythm pattern. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Right? And Motown was using it. Baby, I need your loving. Got to have all your loving. Baby, I need your loving. So it was very, very common. And you could go, oh goodness, we could go all the way through the 80s and the 90s. But just to give you an idea of how that one hasn't gone away, Taylor Swift, the queen of popular music as we know it today, we certainly can see that still living in her music, where she says, because the player's gonna play, 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 and the maker's gonna share, and the player's gonna play, and the hater's gonna hate, 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 hate. I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake it off, shake it off. Like, it just never goes away. This is like the universal, like, rhythm pattern. And so when you know these rhythm patterns and you know your major and minor chords, and especially if you know all of your triads, all of a sudden you're very equipped to take a chord sequence, which you can find lyrics and chords all over the place on the internet, and you can turn that into music very, very quickly. That's the difference between learning everything by rote and having a system. Okay? Having a system. And that's what I like. I discovered this system on accident when I was a kid. I personally was ready to walk away from piano lessons altogether after 5 years because it was like pulling teeth to get from song to song in my lesson books. I wasn't very inspired by that music. I didn't really want to play it that much, and I was terrible at it. And it was just a real slog. It just didn't connect with me, not only just emotionally, but like how to do it. Like I told you, as accomplished of a player as I've become over the years, I still can't just sit down and sight read something. Even though I know the notes and where they belong on the staff, it doesn't make sense to me when I see them in a big clump like that. I am in serious, serious trouble. It's like kryptonite to Superman. I can't do anything with it. It never worked for me. But when I discovered chords and stumbled upon rhythm patterns, oh my goodness, it was like the whole of music opened up for me. Like all kinds of music. And I'm an eclectic. I love all kinds of music. And just to show you how versatile that that rhythm pattern is, and how this system is so universal across different genres and different eras. This always freaks people out. But I'm like, did you know that Guns N' Roses and Barry Manilow use the same rhythm pattern? Right? And kind of pretty similar chord progressions. I'll just show you. So Barry Manilow. I write the songs that make the whole world sing. I write the songs of love and special things. I write the songs that make the young girls cry. I am music and I write the songs. Right? Now, the average Guns N' Roses fan wants to gouge their eyes out and stick a pitchfork through their heads and their ears in particular when they hear Barry Manilow. And yet, that same heartbeat rhythm pattern. Take me down to the paradise city where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home? Paradise City where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home? Right? We're in the Twilight Zone, right? But that's how universal these techniques are, and that's why this system can fuel you playing your favorite songs. And then there's one more little leg to this stool, and that is simple improv based on chords that you can use to fill the spaces in the little gaps in the melody and to play during instrumental breaks. And there's very simple stuff. For the person who's just getting started, you can just do, like I call them toggles and arpeggios, so you can play the top part of a chord with the top part of your hand, toggle to the thumb, or you can split the notes up and play them individually. That's an arpeggio. Take me down to the paradise city where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home? See how I did that? That's a fill. And I didn't have to learn any special skills. I didn't have to read any special anything for it. I just was on this chord, and I used a toggle as a tool. It's a tool that I reached into my toolbox for and used in the moment. And you can do that, and there's varying levels of sophistication that you can execute these tools with, so that, if you're a more advanced player, you can still use this system, but you can use it in a more sophisticated way. And yet, the person who's just getting started can also walk in and learn just some very, very basic stuff. They can learn their basic major and minor chords, and they can learn the most sort of like fundamental versions of these 4 rhythm patterns. The other one's the waltz, by the way, which gives you masterpieces like one, and it's in 3/4. It's the only one that's got 3 counts. And it does things like, it's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. The regular crowd shuffles in. There's an old man sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and gin. We all know that one. Or, fathers, be good to your daughters, as daughters love like you should. Girls become lovers who turn into mothers, so mothers, be good to your daughters too. By John Mayer. So you have a way to even play stuff with 3 counts. But anyway, you can learn these 4 rhythm patterns in their most sort of fundamental way. You can learn your basic, just major and minor chords. And with this system, you can turn them into songs. You can turn them into songs that fast. And you can learn them that fast because once you know your chords, when the chords are sitting right in front of you, you have no trouble jumping back and forth wherever it tells you, because you know where an A flat chord is. And then if it tells you to go to an E major, even though it's a weird leap, you know how to get there. You know where you're going. So it's an amazing way. It's an amazing way to open the door and bring music into your life. Because the one thing that I understand about you and millions of people out there, at the heart of it, whether you perform or not, whether you take a few gigs on the side or not, even if you do this full time, because I do this full time, and this is something that's still true of me. We are all hobbyists at this. We don't do it for the money. This is how I earn my living, but I can tell you that if it still didn't ring my bell and make me happy and bring me joy, and if it wasn't fun and satisfying and emotionally, like I say, emotionally satisfying to do, the money wouldn't be a good enough draw. It just wouldn't. We are all hobbyists at this, and the overwhelming majority, we have busy lives. You have other jobs, right? You do something else for a living, and you have families, and you have friends. You have holidays, you have commitments, you have obligations. But there's this thing that you're trying to carve out some time for because you love music. You want music to be part of your life, and you don't just want it to be part of your life by listening. You want it to be part of your life because it's emanating from you, because you love music. This system is the fastest and most effective way to bring the music that you actually love. The music you've been listening to on the radio your whole life, the music that you're streaming on the platforms and building playlists for, the music that you hear, the hit records that come out of the soundtracks of movies, and that music you can bring to life with this system. And you don't have to become a master of reading sheet music. The learning curve is way shorter, and you get in the door a lot faster, and you're making a credible sound right away. And then you've got all the time in the world. Every time you learn a new tool that's a little more sophisticated than something you knew before, you are making every song you play a little bit better, because that tool is applicable in every song if you want to use it. You can make the choice. So every time you learn something new, it is a rising tide that lifts all boats. But you get to walk in immediately and start playing your favorite songs. That's the beauty of a system. Chords, rhythm patterns, simple improv. I have a 5-step song learning formula that puts all of those 3 components together in a systematic way. I've got many examples of that here on my YouTube channel. But what I wanted to talk about in this video is just why I teach this system and how much it's changed my life. It gave me this career. But more important, long before I ever had any inkling it was going to be a career, it gave me the love of my life. It gave me this passion, this thing that I do because I can't not do it. And I know that that's how you are too. Even if you haven't gotten good at it or mastered it yet, there's something compelling you to come back to it. I know who my audience is. I mean, I have some teenagers, and I have some kids in their 20s and their 30s. Most of my audience are 40s, 50s, 60s, sometimes in their 70s and 80s, still taking another crack at this because music means that much to them. Right? Well, this system can be learned quickly, and the satisfaction and the joy of making that noise can be yours quickly. And you can enjoy every minute that you play getting a little better and a little better and a little better, and watching every song you play get better and better and better, just because you learned one new thing that was maybe a song caused you to learn that thing, but it made every song potentially better because it was available to you now to use wherever you see fit. That's how these songs were written. Okay? That's how popular music was written, in a small room with one or two guys just sitting at a piano or with a guitar, and they were using exactly this kind of technique, workshopping chord sequences, finding words, putting hooks together. It eventually got made into a record with a big ensemble, but it started exactly like you see right here with me, just someone with a piano. And that is exactly the experience you can give yourself in the comfort of your own home. And if you choose to go out and play at the local bar, or to jam in a garage band with some of your buddies, or to play in the worship group at your church, or whatever, this system will serve you well. And you can share it with your family and your friends, or it can just be the thing that you keep for yourself. But it's what we're all in it for, isn't it? We're all in it for the love of music. And that's why I love this system, because it gives you the gift of music faster than anything I've ever seen, and more effectively than anything I've ever seen. So, anyway, I think I've made my point. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I'm Piano Man Steve. I founded the Piano Man Approach, and you'll see links down in my description to go see my free webinar where I demonstrate this in a little bit greater detail, and you can learn about my courses over at thepianomanapproach.com. So anyway, thank you very much. I hope that you've gotten certainly something that you can walk away and use, but even more important, I hope that it's changed the way that you look at the piano and what's possible with it, and how you might personally approach your journey with the piano going forward. Please remember my personal mantra. If you're not having fun when you're making music, you're doing it wrong. And I'll see you on the next video, guys. Thanks.